All right, everybody. I know it's been a while, but Uncle Ed is back, and we have a great interview today. You know, how appropriate that I'm having this interview today because, look, it is Monday, the 5th of August. And if you're paying any kind of attention, stock market is, it's crying a little bit, right? But here's the thing. There's a difference between crying and being a crybaby. Let's not be crybabies today because this too shall pass. And those of you who are keen, and we're going to talk to this man who is an absolute pro. He's going to give you some tips on how not to be a crybaby when the stock market's doing this. It's actually opportunity, if you ask me. Remember, guys, I used to do this for a living, so I have a little bit of cred. On that note, Manny, what's up, man? How you doing, man? Thank you so much for showing up.
Of course, yes. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor.
I'm actually excited that you have because we couldn't have timed this better. I can't make this stuff up, right? The fact that we're
No, we
talking
did
today,
not. We did not time this. Last
but
night,
we
I've
did
been looking
not
at
do
my
this. We did not
phone.
tank the stock market to
We
have
did
Manny
not
on, by
on
the way.
purpose. No, the material just writes itself here.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And so Manny is a CFP. For those of you who don't know what that is, a certified, you know, uh, financial professional, right? Financial planner.
Financial
And
planner.
he's
Yeah,
with Hanke and Company Wealth Management. And so
I
we're just
am.
going to chop it up a little bit and talk about, okay, so what's going on? Should we invest now? Should we not? Should we wait? Are we in the short game, long game? What's the difference between short game and long game? I've always been a long game kind of person myself because roller coasters, in my opinion, belong in fairs, not in your affairs, right? The fair meaning like where you get your pretzels
I like that
and
play
fatty
on
food.
words there. I gotta keep that. I gotta
You
keep
like
that
that?
in
I just
my
made that up, by the way. But it does. It belongs in fairs, not in your affairs. How about
not
that?
in
We'll
your
make
affairs. That's
t-shirts.
gold. I'm glad we're recording. So now this
Yeah,
is forever
very good.
ingrained as
Very good. So,
your
so
copyright.
tell us, Manny, first off, give us a little bit of background of who you are, how long you've been doing this, why you got into this, because I always am fascinated by why people get into their particular professions.
Yeah, let me start with just the things you'd expect me to say, which is I've been in the industry for 15 years. I've worked for this company for the entire time. I've been a certified financial planner, and I'm a partner here as of last year. So, woo, I love
Congratulations.
that.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
It's a big difference, it's a lot more responsibility, but I think I've earned it, and the clients trust me to take over when my business partner Milo retires in about 5 years or so. So I am here to steward the ship and keep my clients happy. We've got about 100 clients right now, room for maybe 40 more families. Really, we want to keep it boutique. We
I
want to
like it.
keep that high touch because that's how we've seen it be a great engagement for everyone involved. And that's how we can make change happen, positive change for our clients. So,
I love that, by the way, because that 100% brings in the white glove service theme, right? Where you actually have time to really white glove service your clients. There's a big difference, guys. Like even in my mortgage business, I don't take everybody on. I like to keep it boutique myself because I really want to work with people who share core values and also who appreciates the fact that I live and breathe this stuff. I wake up thinking about it. I go to bed thinking about it. And I know you're the same, Manny, just in my conversations I've had with you.
yeah, I'm looking at this is half of a stack of estate planning documents that a client and I were going through today. And they'd never done an estate plan. I'm a financial planner. I'm not an attorney, but that estate plan is important to them and important to supporting the financial plan. So I'm going to make time to go over those documents with them so that they understand what they're signing. And I work in concert with their estate planning attorney, and that I think is like what makes a difference, right?
Yeah.
I don't just say go get an estate plan and then come back. I
Mm.
say, let me hold your hand as we go through this really scary process, seemingly scary process, so that it gets done. Because a lot of people put off really important things because it looks like a mountain. And, it is a marathon, but it's easier when you have help. And so I'm like there to support them in that process.
Yeah, I'm a big believer too that, nobody can be an expert at everything. But what I have seen is, and pick a profession, it doesn't matter what industry. The ones who are real standouts, who do the white glove service, know that them being the best they can be is staying in their lane and not try to be somebody else as well, like a financial planner
Completely.
trying to be an
Right.
estate planning attorney, or a mortgage person trying to be a realtor, or a realtor trying to be a mortgage person. It's like there's only so many hours in a day, guys. And you, in order to be really great, if you haven't read the book Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell already told you it takes at least 10,000 hours.
Right.
And by the way,
Uh,
it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. Right? It's totally
Yeah.
true. So when you start to see, for me, it's a red flag when I start to see professionals that are
Yeah,
multi-professional
right. Oh,
industry,
and by the way, I
multi-industry.
also do this, and I also
Yeah,
do this.
exactly. I do car washing and I
You
send
know,
money overseas and
yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah.
Right? What are you? You have identity crisis.
Yes. So, yeah, so I mean, to your point of sticking to a lane, that's why I partner with people like you. I partner with people who are the best at what they do in their industry. And together, you envelop that client in so much service and so much love and care that they can't help but like refer you,
That's exactly right.
right?
And I think that that's key to success. No matter, no matter what you do. I mean, it's been proven over and over again. I've proven it over and over again that bringing in my network is much more efficient and impactful than me trying to be the network.
Hmm.
Right? I don't want to be everything and I don't have the time to. So let's talk about short game versus long game kind of thinking here because we are going through what looks like, right?
Yeah.
The veneer of it looks like, oh my gosh, everything's melting down. We've already gotten so much bad news already. I can't stand now. The news is in my wallet.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're speaking to the 1,000 point drop in the Dow Jones Industrial Average seemingly overnight, then yes. If we're looking at finances in like just a microcosm of like what's happened in the last week, this is a dramatic change, sure. But when a person hires a certified financial planner or at least works with our firm, we take the step back and we say, listen, what's going on in the news is happening, but what's happening for your specific financial plan, this is built in. We know there's going to be market volatility, and we've built a portfolio that is all weather, good times and bad times. And especially for my clients that are retirees, they depend on that income stream from their portfolios. And when they see things like this in the news, my clients stay calm because they know that steady income they rely on for their portfolios is going to continue. And how am I like, so I've gotten no phone calls. It's 2 o'clock now. I've got no phone calls from any client.
Zero.
Zero.
That
Not
that
about,
speaks volumes right there.
right? Because my job is to educate my clients and to tell them like, this is, we expect this. This is actually
Yeah.
kind of healthy. This is
Yeah.
what we want this to happen, right? This is how markets correct. And it's a huge system. There's so many players and not everyone's going to be a winner at the same time.
That's
And
true.
so the market is constantly churning. And you know what's consistent? It's the news cycle. And the news cycle makes money when you panic because you
Of
watch
course.
more news.
Bad
So
news sells faster.
exactly, right? And so what my clients buy, I think, when they're buying my advice and paying for my time is peace of mind, knowing, okay, that might be going on in the background. But as far as what's in front of me and what I've worked on with my planner, my plan continues on despite all of this volatility. So I can shut the door on all that noise and go about my life. So that's I think the long range view is how I've seen clients and other investors do well is you can't this information, I can't do much with this information right now, right? So I need more data. I need like at least 3 years of data to say that an investment was a bad choice. I can't tell you if it's a bad choice in 24 hours.
Yeah, no, totally. And on that note, are there some clients that you tell them this is a buy opportunity because it's on the cheap?
You know, this is called market timing. And as a long-term buy hold type of investor, we try to avoid this. However, my exception is, listen, if a client has an infusion of cash or they have already had, let's say they've just sold a house, for example,
Yeah.
and they're not going to
Liquidity
use
event,
all,
we call it. Yeah.
right, exactly, a liquidity event. And they're not going to use all of the proceeds of that sale to buy the new home. Maybe they're setting some of it aside to super fund their retirement. I would say today's the day. Today's the day we put your cash to work, right? And then we leave it and let it do its
It's
job,
thing. Yeah.
its thing, right?
Yeah. 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 What would you say to the person who's watching this who's been a bit timid to start investing?
Yeah, the best investment for sure is your education. So find some teacher out there who you understand and who you want to learn from, and just read up on 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 this, and like do it in bite sizes. You don't have to like go take a course necessarily, but take it little by little. And there are plenty of resources out there. Like I've got a YouTube channel. You can go and look at other
Yeah.
personal finance people on YouTube. And I think it's like a great way to learn a little bit. But, there's a difference between avoidance and uh, maybe, maybe just like not being educated enough, right? If there's a willingness to learn, you're going to do well because you're already ahead of most, right?
100%, and here's the truth, guys. Even us trained assassins, as I say, we're in the constant pursuit of mastery. We will learn until the day we take our last breath. And I'll tell you, the only people that we can't help, I want you to write this down, whoever's watching this. The only people we can't help are the ones where we want it more than they do. So if
Mhm,
we want it more than you do, not going to work. So
mhm.
you have to come with this willingness to want to succeed. And by the way, success knows no color, no height, no weight, nothing. It's the great equalizer. The question is, do you want it, right? First thing is, don't try to be an expert. And Chat GPT is not going to solve all your problems, people. Come on, right? It's an ancillary. It's not
Mhm.
the replacement. It's not the answer. There is no panacea, panacea being cure all, right? There's no such thing. But I will tell you one thing that I've seen over my 56 years: surround yourself with great people. And then you're going to look lucky. To the
Yeah.
people who are fearful, for the people who don't take action, it looks like luck to them. It's not luck. It's surround yourself with great people who are experts in what they do and they have a humble heart to serve. Those are the people. Like this guy,
Yeah.
right? That's why I'm interviewing him, because it's
You
not
know,
just about, are you successful financially? Are you a giver? Are you a giver's gain kind of person? Those are the
yeah.
people
And
you want to surround yourself.
you brought this question up at the beginning of the hour, and I didn't really answer it. And part of the question was, why are you in this? What makes, And so I am an immigrant to this country, and my family is. And there was a lot of pressure on me to be a success, right? But there's so much that goes into making a family's financial plan work. And when you're an immigrant family, survival is like number one, right? And
Yes.
the next goal is I want to make sure my kids have a better chance at it than I do, right? And so they're not coming to the table with generational knowledge on how the financial systems of America works, right? They might be coming from places where capitalism is broken, or there's rampant just abuse of government power, whatever it may be, right? But so there's like a distrust maybe of like the systems that have made America what it is, like rich and successful nation. And there's opportunity, sure, and there are tips along the way that like can change everything for a family. And I'll tell you this one little anecdote. My grandfather came here from the Philippines in the mid 70s, and they were tobacco farmers. like legit, like they were not living in Manila in like high rises. No, they were out in the fields planting tobacco, and then they got the opportunity to come to the States. And so they reinvented themselves second half of their lives to make the best of the situation. And one of the things I wish my grandfather had was someone like you who could teach them how a mortgage is possible, how they shouldn't be scared of the number, and how it all works, right? There was no one to like explain how the system works. And so that's kind of been like my mission, to help people understand the little bits of missing information that's probably going to help them make the difference to like a fully funded retirement, putting kids through college, buying a house, all of these things. But yeah, so I'm a financial planner because I wish someone like me was around to help my grandfather when he first came here, and was like, listen, you're here now, and here are all the opportunities ahead of you, and I'll show you how to do it. So that's where,
Yes, yes, and yes. You
you know what
know,
I
it's
mean?
to hear you talk, Manny, it's I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah.
I am in this business for exactly the right reasons and for the reasons why you are in your business. It's because I will tell you something. If the people who lost homes in 2008 would have had me, they wouldn't have lost homes
Mhm.
because we don't do things that way.
Right.
We do
Yeah.
things for sustainability, not just, I tell people, look, my easiest part is getting you into a home. You know what's the difficult part? Keeping you in. But
Yeah.
so one of my pillars is to help you make really good financial decisions using my experience and my heart to serve you so that you don't fall into landmines and blow off your leg, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right? And I just literally got off a phone call with a young lady who was telling me that her mom and her grandma had trepidation about her buying homes. Guess why? Because they lost homes. Guess why? Because somebody told them something that wasn't the case. Because in 2008, we all know nobody was verifying anything. They lied about stuff. And
No,
so guess what? They
yes.
lost homes. So of course they're against home ownership.
And I saw it firsthand in my family story. Someone oversold the opportunity. Someone wasn't
Right.
really telling them, oh, yeah, in 5 years, this rate is going to change, and you won't be able to afford it then unless you've refinanced. And by then, it was just the system wasn't there to support them, and they got into a bad situation. Yet another reason why I'm here is like, we can avoid that. Um, I want to speak to what you said about your the client that called you about the trepidation, and the it's like the reverberations of the generation behind them, and those fears were kind of projected onto her as she's trying to make this next step in her financial future. That is called a money story. Sometimes we inherit them from the people around us. So think about your parents. Think about how they talked about work. Think about your grandparents and how they talked about money. And did they say things like money makes people evil, or,
Yeah, exactly. Money
be
messages.
right, be suspicious of people who have a lot of wealth, right? Like those are the messages I grew up with because of where they came from, right?
Yeah.
They were just
Yeah.
suspicious of people who were
It's
showy.
all fear-based. Yeah,
It's all fear-based, right? And
totally.
so when you start working with professionals like you and I think like clients come to learn like, oh, I can rewrite this story and make it current for where I am today, because I'm not a tobacco farmer. I'm not just starting my life here, right? Like my mom worked hard, my parents worked hard so I could have the opportunities I have, and here I am today. And like I'm my grandparents' wildest dream come true, standing here as I tell you, I'm a partner in a financial planning firm in downtown San Francisco. Like they probably would not have seen that coming 40 years ago.
Right. Yeah, that's
So
powerful, man. That is as powerful as it gets. Look, as Simon Sinek says, for those of you who don't know who he is,
love
go
him.
check him out on YouTube. He has actually the most popular TED Talk ever on why. Your why.
Yeah.
Why do you do things in your life? And That is really important. If you haven't thought about that, go out and start thinking about why you do what you do, because sometimes maybe you're not even doing any, maybe right now
Right.
you're not doing what you really love to do or what you're really called to do because it's you don't have a why right behind it, right? There's no real why you do it except for trading time for dollars. But the reality is that look, the planet is getting more expensive, and that means you have to be more proactive, right? And surround yourself with Manny, right? Make sure that you have these people in your life so that you are not a victim of the lack of planning. Because what's the old saying is that most people don't plan on failing, they fail to
Yeah.
plan.
Right. Yeah. And when we're working on a financial plan, I tell them, expect this to change because think about how much your life has changed just from 12 months ago. This plan is like evergreen because we're always changing it, but you
Correct.
at least have put a plan in place. It's not not going to happen the way we write it down. It's going to happen. It's going to happen the way it happens, but we're going to be prepared because we'll have thought about it at least. Like, okay, this happens, then maybe I'll do this. And if I lose my job, well, I've got 6 months of money on reserve and I can float until I get my next opportunity. But that yeah, the planning is key,
The
and
planning is key
the planning is key in all things, not just financial planning,
in
right?
everything.
But just the intentionality and the thinking about like, wait, where am I trying to go? Where am I trying to bring my family? What kind of opportunities do I see for them? And is what am I if what I'm doing today doesn't help them get closer to that, then what am I doing? Right. And I love Simon Sinek. He's so great. And the
Yeah.
why is so important. And I think, yeah, I mean, I even as a consumer, maybe as you like hire professionals, ask yourself, like, why is this so important to this person? And am I in alignment with that person's view on X, Y, and Z? And when that it feels good to partner with someone when the values are in alignment, right?
100%. And that's why I say you have to seek out givers gain kind of people to surround yourself with professionals that will help you grow. And by the way, I believe it's a misconception that you have to be a millionaire in order to start investing and get a financial plan. I think it's quite the contrary. In order to become one, you have to have a plan. It's even more important. And I just want to say this really quick because this is really important. For every client that I have, I build an actual team, a financial team for every client. And I have a
Mm,
form that I fill
yeah,
out. Here it is, folks. So if you're my client, you're getting this. I'm going to build a solid financial team around you because I don't want you to be your own client, right? I don't want you to be a professional at everything. B, I don't want you to rely on chat GPT or technology. I want you to rely on real people with heart and understanding and expertise, right? And then
yeah.
the final piece is that this is going to clear the way for many, many years to come. When you have the right people, then all you're doing is you're servicing, but you can't service something you don't have. So this is important. And for every one of you, my clients, and if you're not a client, then we should talk. But look, do you charge for consultations?
The first half hour is on me.
Perfect.
And, like it's the vibe check, I got to see just as much as you're trying to make sure that I'm not a crook, I'm also trying to see like, is this person, does this person have the willingness? Do
Hmm.
they want to delegate? Like, where are they in their financial journey? Um, because that's just as important, right?
100%.
Because I can make the recommendations and then they'll fall flat if there isn't like motivation to see them through. Um, and I'm not
Agreed.
a crook, by the way.
Yeah,
Just
well, you wouldn't be on this if you were. I promise you. Reputation's everything, and it takes, forever. Like I said, 10 years to become an overnight success and about 10 seconds to ruin it.
that's a
So
great thing.
be
So you
very
can
careful.
actually go. So the Securities and Exchange Commission has created a website called brokercheck.com. You can go in
Nice.
there and if you are sitting in front of a financial professional right now to interview them, this should also be up in another browser where you are looking up, does this person have any um, claims against them from other
Have
clients?
they
Are there
been
any complaints?
suspended?
Have they been,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. All of those things. That's public record. you should know
So
if they have a record.
brokercheck.com, he just made the price of watching this worth it right there. You just got your
Yeah.
money's worth.
Yeah, and I mean, and you can even, if you're already working with someone and you're just curious, type their name in, type the name of the firm in, and you'll find out.
Yeah,
And we're happy to
absolutely.
say that we have no complaints and we've got a great, nice, clean record.
Excellent.
But yeah,
I
that's a nice. I'm really glad the
Same thing
government
with me.
has
That's
that.
why we're hanging out, right? We have no litigation,
Right.
no judgments, no complaints, none of that stuff. We
And
go above and beyond.
I think, yeah, I mean, I get the sense that like your heart is in the right place when you're working with these people because
Absolutely.
I like that ethos about making the suggestions or recommendations sustainable, right? Yeah, and keeping people in their home is the real job. Like, can they continue to afford this home? And yeah, that's really key because I think people are really focused on like the short term. Some
Yeah,
folks can be really just focused on
sure.
I gotta make a client, right? And I think what I'm gathering here too from that wheel and spoke diagram is you're building like a relationship not only with your client but helping them build these relationships so that it's like a really strong cohesive team, right?
That's exactly right. So, final question. How do people get a hold of you, man?
Yeah, so they can go to hankewealth.com. That's HANKEWEALTH.com. Or they can call me. I'm at 415-781-6300. And yeah, schedule. You don't like if you feel like, oh, I don't have enough money, like don't think in those terms. Think of like this guy's cool, maybe in half an hour or an hour of his time, like I'll have one nugget of information that really changes things for me financially.
There you
And
go.
that's on me. That's free. Like that's part of my ethos too, right? It's like I'm doing this because there are a number of folks who need this
A
and
lot of
can't
people,
access it,
Manny.
right? So that's my offer to your audience.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Manny. It's been absolutely great. Love your ethos, love your energy. I know you're doing the right thing for all the right reasons, and I know your why is as strong as it gets. And you and I share that same type of why. So I commend you for that. Folks, give him a call. Do yourself a favor. Take his offer of the half an hour. Even if you don't have any money, he'll give you ideas on how to get money,
Right. I'll
right?
get you.
Going, get
Yes.
that financial momentum. Remember, this is like the gym. You're not going to have a six pack day one, but you got to get into
No,
the gym. That's how
that's
you're
it.
going to get the six pack. That's how you're going to get lean and mean and healthy.
I was in
Let's
the gym
go.
today. I'm trying to get that six pack, but it
Let's
takes
go,
it.
though. Showing
Right?
up is three quarters. So, Manny,
Yes.
thank you for showing up today.
Thank you for
I
having me.
look
This was a
forward
great
to our
fun.
next conversation and be blessed.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.